Let's try it again, shall we? Okay. So there we go. My microphone is working. I will not take out my earbuds. And sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that. Technology. I am not the most techie person. So hopefully you will find me. The other one went away. Here we are. I can see that my microphone is now working. There we go. I saw a heart from somewhere. Maybe it was my own stuff. There we go. Cheryl saying hi. Woo! Yeah, kind of crazy to lose that connection. There we go. Yes, see, there we go. Laura, Kelly, good stuff. Okay, sorry about that. That was my bad. I didn't realize that my taking off of my earbuds would do so many wonky things. No, it was totally me, you guys. But you know what? It's just like being on a phone call and you have a bad connection. So you start, you figure something out and you don't make too much drama of it. So good morning, Carla. It's so fun. I love seeing the good mornings and the good afternoons because as I was saying to kind of myself earlier, it's really kind of wacky to be between two worlds. I've already had a pretty active day of coaching and working and stuff. And I see on my calendar that, or my computer, that it's 12:08 p.m. Eastern, but it's only 9:08 Western. So here we are. I love it. Louise is getting better at liking the live. So has everybody liked the live? Do you know how to like the live? I don't know if I know how to like a live. I'll be honest with you. But here we are. Everybody saying hey to everybody, getting to know each other, noticing some familiar names. Maybe there aren't some familiar names. So I want to welcome anybody who's not familiar with me. Familiar, family. Hey, nice to meet you. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Now, actually, it's really funny because at the moment, Destination Decluttered is in Destination Palm Springs, of which I believe there is a shop called Destination Palm Springs, and one of my happy places. So I love to help people with clutter, but I'm also decluttering life coach. So I don't just tell you how to organize things and whatever. I teach you how to do it by really helping to encourage you to do what works, but to get curious about what hasn't worked from you in the past decluttering so we can change that. Okay. And so you are feeling good about where your home, your home is looking good, it's functioning well, and you're feeling good in your home and then in your life. Okay. Now, I love this. I see a bunch of resting going on. So I'm all about the resting. And as Carla could know, that sleep and rest and taking care of your physical body and your energetic body, I'll just call it your energetic body, is really where it all begins. Because if you're not feeling good, it's like trying to drive forward with a car that's not working well. It's so much easier to drive a car that's a full tank of gas or a charge in an electric car, that it's got windshield wiper fluid, that it's clean and organized and something's not going to roll underneath your foot when you're trying to press on the brake. So I love that Louise is doing something that brings her joy. She's making baked ziti for her college grandson and his favorite cake. Notice how Louise's love language is making food for people. I love that. I think my love language is coaching. What can I say? I love to share with people and to help you with that. Laura is resting next to her kitty. Oh, we've got a kitty over there. She's not as crying as she was earlier. I fed her this morning. She's now sleeping. I'm resting next to the kitty before I continue cleaning. Daughter and her boyfriend are visiting this weekend. So destination, daughter and boyfriend are visiting. Meeting the boyfriend for the first time live. Ooh, interesting. I wonder if that's got you looking at your own home through the outsider lens. What would it look like to him? Sometimes when we live in our house for long enough, we get stuff blindness. We don't even notice it, but if we start to envision, if we look at our homes through the eyes of somebody else, things that are there all the time may kind of, pop up to the forefront, So just notice these things. Yeah. Oh, there we go. You've got an orange striped kitty as a softest plushie. I love it. Yay. Becky Ridgway, the double whammy of taking care of your health. Out for a walk after my mammogram. Very cool. Yay for mammogram and yay for walking. Okay. Yeah, and looking at things through fresh eyes. I have been trained to do that a lot through my life because I was an art history major. I did visual merchandising. So visual merchandising is pretty much setting up a store, not how you want it to be, but how it would look good to a customer. So think about kind of rubbing your eyes and looking at things with fresh eyes. And notice the stuff that bugs you. What would you change if it were your house? Well, it is your house, so you can change it. Okay. There we go. Now, McDoug's is going through a box of papers. If you want any help with that, just let me know. And Carla Jane, you guys, I'm going to out Carla Jane in a loving way. Carla Jane is recommitting to taking care of her health. So we all are going to be here to give her good vibes, to show up. And basically, we're using our habit trackers, tracking ourselves, making sure we get out for a walk and take our vitamins and take our medications and go to bed at early times. There we go. I Love Therapy Gal Sue is decluttering medicine first aid cleaners from a closet on a work break. Yeah. Notice how you can declutter pretty much anything. And it's going to make it easier for you to find medicines that works, first aid things that haven't expired, and cleaners that you can either clean with, or if they didn't work, what can you do with them? Yes. So what I want to say is I'm here to help. I am here to help. And if just listening to me today is helping, then go for it. If listening to me today and taking notes, writing stuff down, I know I sound so boring and I'm always coming back to the basics, but writing stuff down that's important to you, writing stuff down that sounds good, writing stuff down that's inspirational, getting your thoughts out of your head and down onto paper. How lucky are we that we live in an era where you can do that? But getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper allows you to trust that they will be there, allows you some distance. You are looking at it from a distance, from a different, literal use of the term different perspective, because your eyes are not going up to your brain and seeing the boiling pot of spaghetti. You've dumped your thoughts out down like a colander of spaghetti, and you have written down a thought, which is basically a line of spaghetti. So you are detangling, you are decluttering your thoughts when you write them down. Okay. Now, here's a wonderful thing, talking about decluttering and health and medicines. Laura Voorhees dropped off 5 old medicine bottles this morning at the pharmacy for safe disposal. So notice that you can do something and you can feel good about decluttering, that you're not going to pollute the environment, or you might, that somebody might not get poisoned by these bad medicines that you have that you're no longer using. Okay. So good stuff. And the neat thing is, Laura Voorhees, he says he's been warned, his boyfriend has been warned that your daughter hasn't fallen from the messy mom tree. Right. You know why? Because you taught your daughter what you knew how to do. You were probably taught that from somebody else. All of it's all good. And the neat thing is, though, your daughter hasn't been hanging out with us, right? This crew. So I bet you are less cluttered than you were before. When you start to embody, when you start to take action, embody, getting these thoughts out of just the ether, and you start to take action, do the things, it starts to become ingrained in you, muscle memory, a way of just being, a way of thinking and acting and feeling and doing that changes everything. So notice that even if you've just been listening to me, maybe some of that stuff is starting to absorb. Hopefully, if it's good, it's the stuff it's the nutrients that you need that you'll absorb. The things that you don't need right now won't be absorbed, but say to yourself, I'm going to show up for however long I'm going to be on this YouTube live. Now, I will be here personally for like the next 45 minutes. You are going to be here for as long as you want, but listen for things that are going to help you. And I can talk vagaries all day, but if there's something that would help you, I don't know, be like Casey Kasem. I can take requests. I can take a request. So good morning, Robin. Yay, Becky. Good stuff. It is so important. Let me just say this, though. Without your health, you ain't got nothing. It doesn't matter how clean your house is if you're not around so that people can visit you in there. So you're not around to live in it. If you're not feeling good and you don't have a place to sit that's comfortable and you look around, because what you look at does affect how you feel. And your clutter does affect your physical health. Can you easily find your medications? Can you easily find a space on the floor to do some stretchies? Can you easily put your medications back so you know where they are and nobody else inadvertently takes, I took my medicine as opposed to the cat's medicine. Your physical health, drinking water, moving your body, getting some sleep. Let's take everybody who's got a pet or ever had one. You know what? It's a pretty simple animal lifestyle. You wake up from sleeping. You're hungry, so you cry because you want to eat. You feed yourself. After you feed yourself, you wait a bunch of times. Maybe you go to the litter box. Then you do some stretches, and then you sleep. Learn something from the animals. They know how to sustainably live day to day. Do you ever see an animal who crazily does all the things one day and then is out like a lamp out like a lamp. I say it like that sometimes. Who then sleeps all day? No, they do a little bit at a time. And they spend a lot of time sleeping. They got it going on because somebody else is taking care of them. But I just offer to you, when you feel better, everything else feels easier. So if you're not feeling good right now, notice that. Where are you not feeling good? Do you know why? Even if you don't know why, sometimes you don't know why. Like, I don't know. Was it something I ate? Or is it just that I'm off my schedule? Was it something in the water? Why is my tummy rumbly? I don't know. So you can sit there scratching your head, figuring out why. And that can be time well spent. At the same time, though, we don't always look in the rearview mirror. If you're always looking in the rearview mirror, you're never moving forward. Or if you do, you're going to crash into the car in front of you. So if you can't figure it out, no matter. Say, here I am right now. I can do something different now. And then do something different to make yourself feel better. So if that's cuddling with your kitty and taking a nap and resting, awesome. Maybe you've done that and you can get up and do something. Because to me, action is where the change really happens. We can be in theory all day long, but until you test out your theory, you don't know if it works or not. You don't know if it works for you. Now, I come on to my YouTube lives and I share with you what worked for me. But that's just a basis. That is just a basis. I am not you. You are not me. That's cool. But this is a nice basis to start with, and then find out from this kind of back to basics, as Carla and I were saying earlier, this back to basics, this like standard box of crayons that we use, is how can we tailor it so it works even better for you so that you use those tools literally on a daily basis. Everything that I mentioned to you to share with you is something that I have not done in my past and felt the effects. I then started to do them and I felt the effects. And then some things I've stopped doing, some things I've started doing, but there is a core number of things that I do to make me feel better so that I do better. And a lot of it has to do with my physical health, but also, as I guess I'll call it today, my energetic health, my mental health, my nervous system, the words in my head, basically. The words in my head causing the feelings in my body. I can easily tell myself a story that's going to make me angry. And when I know that, I realize I can make a choice. I can choose to tell myself the story about how my husband bought too many foods on vacation and then left me with leftovers, and now all I have to do is eat leftovers. That was the story I was telling myself this morning, and it made me felt crappy. But then I can stop. See this, you all? Even if you don't have hands, you have a traffic cop hand in your head, a big, metal stop sign that you can hand out, kind of like when they want kids to walk across the street crossing guards, or maybe there's some construction, putting out the stop sign, saying stop. If you keep on going, you're just going to make yourself feel worse. So you stop, and then you have a choice. At that stop sign, a fork in the road appears. You can continue going along the road and continue thinking those things and doing the things, and that's going to get you more of what you have already. Or when you stop, you can do something different. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been doing what you're doing. If what you're doing is not giving you the result you want, you can change it. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. But here's a fun thing that I was reminded of, and I should probably reread this. But yeah, the current skill set you have has resulted in the life that you have right now. Now, I say this not as a bad thing. I say this as a mixed bag. I bet you've got some awesome stuff going on. I do. Look at Louise. She's got grandkids. Look at Louise. She loves making ziti. She's also got, problems with her knees. She's got some clutter, but she's got some good stuff there. Don't throw the baby out with the, as my bestie would say, as Carla Jane says, yeah, how's that working out for you? How's that working out for you, right? If you want more of what you have already, you keep on doing what you're doing. Boom, it's going to happen. But micro shifting, just turning the wheel a little bit and driving in a different direction may not feel like a lot at the beginning, but math will get you on a different trajectory, and you will go further from where you are now for the things you don't want. And ideally, we're not just turning the wheel to turn the wheel. We are remembering why I call it destination decluttered. We are going towards a destination that you have decided what you want. What are the ingredients of the place you're heading towards? Now, oftentimes it's good to sit there and remind yourself of that even when you're on the road trip. To say, where am I headed? Do I still want to go there? What has changed since I started this journey? Now, here's a really interesting thing for me, because those of you who have followed me for however long you have, I have often talked about Palm Springs, California, being one of my happy places. As I joke about the map of the United States, about starting in Pennsylvania and driving to Palm Springs, PA to PS, that there are many ways you can get there. But then saying, what is it about this place that I like so much? What is it about the destination? And the more clear you can get about what you hope to get, what you want things to be, the easier it is to either get it by going there or changing where you are to get more of it. Yay, Sue. Sue stripped the bed and put the sheets in the washer. I say that as a congratulations for Sue, because I need to get better at changing the sheets on my bed. But I will offer to anybody else. We did this before when Judy was doing the dishes. Has anybody else been dragging their feet on stripping the bed and changing the sheets? Perhaps Sue can be used as an inspiration. She's making the bed up with new sheets, or at least she's washing the old ones. Maybe that's something you can do right now too. We could play the game of that woman. I'm still kind of on the TikTok occasionally. How long does it really take? It's crazy that we spend so much more time dreading something. We spend so much time in the feeling of dread than if we had just done the thing and gotten it over with. So are you living in dread? Are you feeling in dread? And what are you dreading? Let's get you out of dread. Let's just shorten it up. Let's just do the thing that you're dreading, so at least you stop living in dread. Okay? Now, I love this. So Carla and I do the one-on-one coaching, and you guys know that I do one-on-one coaching, and I offer it to you, and you're on the mailing list, so you know that as soon as I get back in the swing of things, and I know that I will be able to do some consultations, I'm always available for people who want to sign up for one-on-one coaching. But Carla and I met this morning and we talked about going back to basics. So no matter where you are in your life, even just today, today's what, a random Wednesday in April, sitting down and saying, here I am. Here I am. Am I headed somewhere? Where am I there yet? Am I there yet? I think I'm pretty much there yet, which is kind of awesome. I am feeling good about so much in my life, more so than ever before. So that's why I feel like I'm in the perfect time of my life to share these things with you, because what I'm doing is working, right? But Carla said during our time together this morning, I revisited where I wanted to land, my destination. And some is the same. Much has really changed for the better. Yeah. If I went back to, now I'm not at my desk at home, as you know, let me get this, but you guys know too that I have like 3 of these books. One's pink, one's bright orange. And I started maybe 5 years ago being really into that concept of how can I make my life like a road trip? And any good road trip is going to be towards a place you're excited to get to. You know what's mind-blowing to me is when I have written down what I've wanted, my road trip, my destination, that sets things in motion that you don't even know, because you said to yourself, I want that. I want to do that. I want to live like that. I want to feel like that. And whatever that is, you've written down. And so, not to get all woo-woo, because I am very sensitive about being like, oh, and then the universe provides. But the universe does provide. Maybe God, or religious. Insert name here. That when you write down what you want, it increases the likelihood that you will get it, because you have told yourself by writing it down that it's important enough to write down. Now, just because it's been up in your brain for a while doesn't mean it's too late to write it down. You can still write it down. And I can't tell you how fun it is for me now to flip through my books from the past and see how many things that I wrote down that I wanted that ended up happening, that ended up me being there doing the thing. Has all of it happened? No, but I didn't set a timeline. I mean, literally. The crazy thing is I said I want to live in a mid-century modern house in Palm Springs. Well, I'm alive, right? You know, I'm alive and I'm here in a mid-century house in Palm Springs, California. I am living in a house like this, and I am playing with, I am trying on the lifestyle to see how it fits. And there are parts of it I'm digging. I'm not going to lie. And you know what? I'm paying attention to the particulars. Is the thing that I like about living here something that is only here, or could I get it elsewhere? Now, one of the things, I'll be honest with you, that I really dig about it is the weather. Not all the time, but the fact that it's nice and warm. Where else can I get warm weather? I don't know. So I just offer to you, getting specific, getting curious, giving yourself time, pausing before you drive forward any further and just saying, wait a minute, where am I going? Am I psyched about where I'm heading? And if the answer is not so much, then let's stop to talk about it. What are the particulars? What's the clutter that's bumming you out? What don't you like about your living room? The specifics written down are a game changer. Now, writing it down is part of the process. It's not just, oh, you write it down and it happens. So writing down where you want to go, and that's just the thing. It's like you get your destination, right? You pick your destination that has all these ingredients, and then your brain already knows some of the things, much of the stuff, all of the stuff to do to get there. You write down a list, and then here's the fun thing. Then it's up to you to then do the things you wrote down. You know, if you wrote them down, you'd get there. And then it's a matter of, do I want to do that or not? Now that's where the life coaching comes in. Why am I not doing the things I said I wanted to do? I know I should go to bed early. I know I should do the dishes every night. I know whatever. I know it up here, but I'm not doing it down here. And I say, Don't beat yourself up about it. Get curious. Beating yourself up will shut you down. Curiosity opens you up. Get curious. And sometimes the answer can be just like, I don't feel like it. Okay, own that and live with the results. I have gone to bed at night without brushing my teeth. I know, huh? So I live with the results of waking up in the morning with morning breath, or morning, right? So own what your decisions have a result. If you like the result, keep on doing it. If you don't like the result, own that you made that decision, and if you choose, you can do something different next time. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of decluttering stuff. Decluttering. How's your house looking? Not even your house, just one room. Where you are sitting right now. Can you spy? I spy with my little eye. And again, I'm in somebody else's house, so it's slightly different. But are there things in your line of vision right now, in your kind of cone? Like over here, I can't see anything, right? And then as I get closer, then I suddenly see my eyes out of my peripheral vision. And then as I look straight ahead. So what is straight ahead of you? Do you like what you see straight ahead of you? If you turned, 5 degrees, could you do the same thing? Do you like what you see? If not, literally that chunk right in front of you, right there, I feel like a robot, but that little kind of slice, that you can see ahead of you from here to the end of the table, to the door, to the end door of I'm looking into a kitchen, do you like how it looks? If you do, yay. If you don't, never mind everything else. How could you change how that looks so you end up liking it? Just in that little cone, that little slice, that little, what do I want to call it? Like pie slice that you're looking forward to. Now I look ahead of me and I'm looking and I see there's a couple of crumpled up pieces of paper because I was working on my my habit trackers and stuff like that. So I've got some crumpled up paper. I've got an empty tea mug with some stains in it. I've got a piece of paper that looks okay. I look out there, I see some recycles. Okay, I could do something about that. And it won't take that long to do that little bit. So what is a little bit that you could do right now so that you feel better, declutter-wise and otherwise? Now, the neat thing is that notice what we did. We chunked it down to just like what's right here, and you focus. You can focus better when you're not seeing all the peripherals, putting on your blinders, Oh, interesting. Interesting. Carla Jane says, if you aren't from Alabama, Carla's from Alabama, y'all won't get this, but we have tornadoes often. James Spahn is our Alabama weatherman. He says, what's in your polygon? Your loved things are in the eye of the storm. Yeah. What are the things that are closest to you? What are the things that mean the most? Okay. Yay. I love this. Louise is saying it was so nice to start cooking today with an empty sink and a still decluttered table. Yeah, notice how your decluttering makes you feel good and it makes you more easily able to do the things you love, which is cooking. And Louise, notice what you're doing. You have gotten into the habit of keeping your decluttered table still decluttered. You have gotten into that habit because you've gotten out of the habit of keeping the clutter on the table for a long amount of time. Okay? So look at what you're doing. You are doing things to make you feel good, to make it look good to you. When it looks good, you feel good, and then it's easy to function in your kitchen and make a ziti for your grandchild. I'll get you a polygon shirt. Sure. I wear mine every day. We expect to get bad storms. Interesting. I love that. I love it. Now, Robin Schroeder says, I do, but I still have Easter decorations up. Okay, and then I don't know what it said afterwards because I'm a bad typist. You can keep your decorations up for as long as you want. This is a judgment-free zone. But you will decide how long you want to keep them up. You will decide when you take them down. You will decide whether you keep them for next year or you donate them because you're good with them. If you keep them, you will decide where you store them until next year, Easter. So notice those decisions. All of this is up to you. It is mind-blowing to me when I think of the fact that the real simple, elegant truth is your decisions really do define your life. Your decisions create your life. What you think and feel and then act upon are the ingredients of the recipe of your life. So if you want to make chocolate chip cookies, don't be using the ingredients for ziti, you know? So I don't say this to overwhelm you. I say this to encourage you and to inspire you. To be like, wow, okay, I can see examples of me deciding to do X had that effect on my life. It's almost like you could backtrack and see, yes, I could have said no to that person who asked me on the date and my life would have gone that way, but I said yes to going on the date, so my life went that way. We can look backwards and see where that all plays out. Let's look forward and see how that plays out. Okay, so cool. Robin, you have a place to be stored once they come down. And notice once they come down, once you take them down or somebody else, you could boss them around and tell them to take down. If you're feeling good about your Easter decorations still up, yay, own it, live it, defend it. I like having that up there. But if you don't like it, you can change it, right? Right. Yeah, I'm right saying right, but it's more declaratory. So you make decisions every day. God, decisions. It can be exhausting. Decision fatigue is a real thing. Decision fatigue is a real thing, which means I'm done. I can't even think anymore. So make sure that you are making your decisions. You are using your valuable finite, gas tank of decision energy. Make sure that you're using that to drive you to where you want to go. If you end up spending your decision energy on little putsy things that really don't make a difference, then you may wake up and realize, wait a minute, here I am trying to figure out if I should get the dark pink or the light pink at Target, or should I get the small or the large, or should I buy the short ones or the small ones? And in the meantime, you look up and say, wait a minute, like this isn't where I want to be. Like there are some major things in my life that I'm not too keen about, but I've spent all of my energy, my physical energy, my mental energy, my decision-making energy on piddly little things, and I've emptied my gas tank, so I have no energy for that. That's why having a destination can remind you to put into focus what really is important. And that's why I start so many of these YouTube lives and my coaching with checking in with your health and your energetic body, your physical body, your energetic body. Because without those things working well, you ain't going nowhere. Or you are, and it's going to be exhausting. It's going to be tiring. It's going to be painful. It's not going to be as easy it is. Because when you're feeling good physically and energetically, and again, I think of energetically as like the electricity running through your system, is things just get easier. You're not as afraid to do the things to get yourself where you want to go. You're not as afraid to have those conversations. Are they comfortable all the time? No. But I mean, you don't get what you don't ask for. And it may be awkward. Yesterday, I had an awkward moment. I will share this with you. I come up here and I preach these things to you, but I also practice them. So we want to be in Palm Springs next year. I know I want to introduce one of my sisters to Palm Springs because it's a favorite place of mine, and I know what she's into now. She will appreciate it. So I went to go make a reservation at a hotel that we've stayed at before. Each room is different. And I decided between the ones that were available that I initially said, oh, I want to stay there. So I called them up and I said, yes, I'd like that room, please. You don't get what you don't ask for. Sometimes if I had waited any later, they could have said, no, we're all sold out. Okay. And so what happened? This was goofy, but this is real life. I got off the call, and as I was looking at the description of the room I wanted, I said, oh, crap, that's right. Not only does it only have a queen size bed, but it's got an outdoor shower. Now, the weather's beautiful here, but I really like, and I'm sure it's like a warm, it's not like it's a freezing cold shower, but I was like, I know I would be more comfortable with a king size bed and an indoor shower. Now, I could have been like, oh, I'm going to feel like such a goof. I just called up the guy and I said I wanted that room, but now I don't want it anymore. And it's like, okay, well, I can be temporarily uncomfortable on the phone saying, could you change my reservation? Or from now until next March, I could be bummed out that I picked the room that I picked, or I could do something about it right away. So you know what I did? I called them up and I said, hey, Ben, it's Beth. I know I just talked to you and I said I wanted this room, but I decided I want that room. He checked. He said, yeah, it's available. And I said, okay, awesome. You can make the change. Thank you. So I don't live in dread because I changed something that I knew that I wanted better. So I ask you, temporary discomfort is all over the place. Permanent long-term discomfort, let's stop that, okay? This is where I say, kind of in the decluttering, that it's going to look and feel temporarily not as good on the way to feeling better. It's like when you've got all your clutter spread out because you're in the midst of working on it, it will look, it will look not as good on the way to better. Louise is in her kitchen. She's got a box of ziti and a jar of sauce, or maybe she makes her own sauce, and she's got a block of cheese, and she's got her pan and whatever else you put in your ziti, and they're all nice and neat. Once you start the process, though, as you are cooking with butter or Crisco or gas, as it were, once you're cooking, during the process, it will look temporarily worse. But you are putting up with the temporarily worse part of it because you know that it's heading for something good, destination ziti for my grandson, and you know that you're going to feel that you're going to clean up afterwards. So notice that. Yeah. Now, here's a really good thing, too, to think about. Came up with Carla and me today, so it bears repeating. You do not have to do this alone. I show up in your life and you tune in to remind yourself that there's other people out there and there's me. There's help out there. But now I don't come to your house and do it, but there are people who you can get into your life to make things easier, to do things that you can't do or don't want to do, but you could pay them in any way you see fit and have them do it. This is one of the things that I think of when I think of really successful businesses and really successful owners of businesses. That they could do a lot of stuff with their time, but they get really specific about what can I teach somebody else to do that they could do as good a job at it so that I have my time so that I can do the things that only I can do. Now, Carla says, I took a chance and asked someone for help in my yard. It absolutely gave me a gift of getting what I needed and helped someone too. Because what Carla needed was rest and also time to do the things only she knows how to do. Now, this is the interesting thing about decluttering versus organizing versus cleaning. Decluttering is something really only you can do because decluttering is decision making. There are many other things you can outsource. If you went through and decluttered your home, and then you said to somebody else, hey, come make it pretty, kind of come put like items together and alphabetized. You could totally outsource that to somebody else. But it's really hard. If you outsource your decluttering to somebody else, you will have to live with their decisions about what's important and what's not important. And I think a lot of us maybe grew up with that too. Our moms throwing away our stuff. I don't know. I'm just talking about myself. You know, people making decisions about your stuff. You get to make the decision about your things. So make the decision, or somebody else is going to make it for you. You know, just some things to think about. Just some things to think about. Having a destination, figuring out how to get there, and having fun on the journey. Having fun on the journey. Trusting, looking forward to all the things you want to do happening, but also kind of not knowing when it's going to happen is fun. I like unexpected delights. I did not expect my friend to call me to say, can you come and house sit and cat sit in Palm Springs? But I planted a seed of something that I knew that if it grew, I would be enjoying of. So what seeds are you planting? My seeds, frankly, go back to as far as I knew that I didn't want to be stuck someplace when I was working. So even as I was creating my coaching business, I realized one of the things I could do but didn't want to do was to go into people's houses and help them with it. Because you don't need the help with the hands. You need the help with the heart, the head, and the heart. Even if I was at your house, I used to say this when people would be like, do you come to houses and do it? No, because all I would do is you would pay me so much money to stand there and pretty much do this. What is this? Do you want it or not? If you want it, where does it go? If it doesn't want it, what are we going to do with it? So I would just be there. I can't make the decisions for you, but you can. So knowing that decisions are decluttering and decluttering our decisions, let's make some good ones, people. Come on. You've got one life to live. Wasn't that a soap opera? You've got one life to live. You've lived decades of it already, unless I have somebody watching me who's like 9 years old, which I doubt. You have lived decades a certain way. Are you digging how things are going? If the answer is yes, yay. Do more of that, please. But if not, let's get curious. How can you get strategic to get less of what you want, less of what you don't want, and more of what you do want? Let's use strategy. Let's use planning. Let's make cool stuff happen. That's what I'm doing. I don't even know what my next adventure is going to be, but I'm always open to it. I am always open to unexpected delights. Now, unexpected, not so good things, they may come across, but I say thank you, but no. Because I know what's going to make me happy. I know what I will enjoy. I know where I will bring my best self. For example, sometimes I tag along with my husband when he is traveling for playing music. Now, anywhere he went was fun. Nowadays, since I've been doing that, 5 years or something, there are certain places that I'm like, that's cool. I'd be happy to stay home than going to you to be on the road, because it's not like, it's a different kind of traveling. But I know that I won't be as happy if we're going like on a 4-day stint through a place I've already been or don't have any interest in. So I thank you, but no. But if I get the opportunity to go international at some place I'm interested in, hell yeah, I'll say yes to it. So cluing into what lights you up, and also what makes you say, meh, makes you be able to say yes to the things that light you up, or to get yourself closer to that. I'm there. Right now, we get 9 minutes left, and I go from looking at the computer right here to looking at seeing people walk by with the dogs and seeing some cactuses and palm trees. And the palm trees are whipping in the wind, so I know I want to go to the part of town that's a little less windy. I see the sunshine on the swimming pool. I see some oranges on the orange tree. I see a little kitty sleeping on the mid-century modern couch. I notice myself that I'm still in my pajamas, So part of me thinks it's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But then the other part of me says it's 9:51. So I offer to you, today's a day in your life. How are you going to make it a good one? I'd say can you make it a good one, but the answer is yes, it could. How are you going to make today a good life for yourself? Today. You don't have to do everything else, but what are some things you can do? I have a list. I have a schedule. I have to keep an eye on it because I have coaching and stuff today. I have stuff, Oh, hey, this is really cool. I love seeing when coaching has this wonderful effect. So there we go. Carla G scheduled her time, Beth, and show up. So you showed up for that 1 hour. Now, Carla, it's going to be you showing up. I say this in the most encouraging way. Show things that you know are going to help you. Showing yourself. I love that. Now, Louise and I coached at one point together, and she says she has to run. But you know why? She has to answer a message on Marketplace where she lists some items on Marketplace. So notice, decluttering and coaching doesn't happen just in those seconds. Yeah, and cool. Now, there we go. And Judy Dukes came home for lunch from substitute teaching, I assume. Started listening and got all of my dishes put away before going back. Now I don't have to do it when I get home. Yes, that's one of the things I say. Chunking it down and doing things sooner rather than later gets you out of living in the dread. Can you imagine if you came home and saw the dishes piled up in the sink and you knew they were there, and then all day when you're at home at school, knowing that you're going to come home and have to deal with dishes? You're going to have to deal with them sooner versus later, and then you're just living in the fun expectation of coming home to a nice empty sink. Doing things sooner rather than later is a game changer. Chunking it down so it doesn't seem so scary to start sooner. We're able to get our taxes handed in on time, if not early, for the first time in decades. Check it in. There we go. Now, I love it. Cheryl has gone through her mail and shredded while listening today. Yeah, doing the shredding now as opposed to later. Going through the mail now as opposed to letting it pile up and saying, I'll deal with it later. I don't have time for that now. Get curious about the stuff that you say you don't have time for. Oops, what happened there? Get curious. There we go. Elo says the plumber is running late, so it's an unexpected delight to listen to Beth. Well, I'm glad this is delightful. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of interaction in the chat, which is okay. I hope you know that the words I share with you come from my heart and come with a sincere hope that you will take them to heart and you will put into practice the things that I am sharing with you. They worked. They have worked for me, so I know they could work for you. Just give it a shot, okay? All right? Yeah, okay. Kelly Smith says, today I'm trying to fix my irrigation and faucet hookups. Apparently, everything went kaput over the summer. Yeah, the things that we do not tend to, because they are dormant, sometimes end up not working when we're using them. You know? I love it. Kimmy says, my trunk is full of donations for Goodwill. Very cool. Very cool. Now think about it, Kelly. You know, sometimes we set it and forget it. So maybe next year, if things went kaput over the winter, you're now needing to get things back to even just getting it. What I would offer is next year, asking the people who will help you fix it, or what is something you could do different next year with your irrigation and faucet stuff, so you may not have to do this year. Learn from what doesn't work for you. Learn from what went wrong so you can increase the likelihood that it won't happen again. Don't just, again, that old adage of those who don't learn from history are bound to repeat it. Learn from your own personal history. I know I don't like to drink rubbing alcohol, or I shouldn't have dated that liar, or man, my stomach doesn't like dairy, or I shouldn't have let those dishes pile up because now there's flies in my kitchen. Learn from yourself so you can do different on the way to better. Different doesn't mean different, but different with the idea of your North Star, your destination. What can you do today that's going to get you heading towards your North Star, your destination? And if you don't know what your destination is, spend some time today writing it down, saying destination, and you can boom, boom, kitchen. It looks like this now, but I want what I want. I want it to look like this. I want it to function like this. And I want to feel like this when I'm in my kitchen. Okay? Write it down. Now, Kelly is saying, yeah, I did all the things and not sure why the faucet busted. It's new. You can do everything right and still things don't come out your way. Stuff will happen. Shit will happen. You can figure out why, and sometimes you figure out the answer, and sometimes it's a mystery. But what you can do is get it fixed sooner rather than later. Yeah. And Kimmel says, home renovation will get you going on getting rid of stuff. Yeah. And when you have a clear vision of what you want your home to look like, you can more, and you're excited about it, you can more easily release what doesn't fit with that vision. It may have been an outdated vision. You maybe wanted it for a while, but here you are now. 12:58 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, April 23rd, or 9:58 Pacific. Let's get Pacific. Yeah. Now, this is a good thing Sue is learning, which is so paramount to also clutter. I learned today not to buy extra items to have on hand. So many I no longer need, such as arthritis cream, or I've changed it, like vitamins. Yeah. Notice that when we think we are stocking up on something, our implication is we're not going to change in the future. The fear is often they won't make it anymore like it, but you may change. Stocking up on one flavor of cat food, cat's going to get bored with it. Variety. Notice there may be something that works better or something you don't need at all. So remember that, to not buy extra items just to have on hand, trusting that you will be able to find something when it starts to run out. You can use that in your medicine cabinet, as Sue was saying, your makeup, your first aid, your kind of potions and lotions. You can use that in your pantry, in your kitchen, your cleaning products, your stuff in your garage. Even my husband and I were saying that when we were on a Zoom call earlier about the paint that we have used in the house. That, do we still need it? When's the last time we've used it? But also that stuff may change. The color may change. It may dry out, Yeah, stockpiling is overrated, and stockpiling comes from fear. Now, we could get really into that, but we can't because it's 1 p.m. and I'm going to sign off momentarily. But I think this is a really good thing to think of, is when you are hanging on to something, when you are not changing something. And really, if you're hanging on to something and you're not changing something, you're clinging to a habit, something, some way of being that isn't getting you the result you want. What is the fear behind that? Why are you afraid of releasing it and changing, doing something else? Now, that is something that you could probably fill notebooks with, but just look for the fear. I'm afraid that if I do this, that will happen. Play Mad Libs, okay? If you played Mad Libs, that would happen, okay? So, real quick, I was thinking about this, and because I got to sign off soon, but we have a nice crew right here. Let me ask you this. I'm trying to do the, the math. So Wednesdays, we have gotten in the habit of at 8 p.m. Eastern having a kind of end of day YouTube live. I have typically scheduled them, but I've been consciously loosey-goosey on my schedule this week because I'm in a different time zone and I don't know what's going on. But by a show of hands, if I decided to do a pop-up YouTube live this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, which would be 5 p.m. my time, I have the time to do that. If I did that, would that help you? Would you show up? Would you like that if I did it? Let me know in the comments because I care about what you think. I'm just not going to show up if nobody shows up. Okay. Carla says yes. Tina says yes. Okay. Good to know. Good. Okay. Kimmy says it's dinner time for me. Gina says yes. Okay. So notice it's dinner time for some people. It's not 8 o'clock for some others. But I'll keep it to a schedule. So it'll be 5 p.m. for me. I will send out a quick email to the list about this. So everybody on the list will know that it will be tonight. Yay, Judy Dukes. Okay, good. I appreciate you guys letting me know that because I can make it happen. The other thing too, real quick, is today's Wednesday. The other thing I'll put in the email will be that we also have 2 decluttering parties coming up, Saturday and Sunday of this weekend, okay? So I look forward to checking in with you guys in a handful of hours. What is it going to be, like 6 hours or so? 10, 6, carry the 1, something like that. Okay, Kelly, that's all right. You have practice. No worries. We'll show up. We'll do some things. We'll check in. Anybody who is hacking your habits, tracking your habits, how many good habits can you get into your day today before we meet, in 6 or 7 hours? Okay, 7 hours. Thank you, Gina. Yeah, I'm looking at too many clocks and I'm trying to talk at the same time. Do some good stuff between now and then, and we'll check in with each other. And this has been fun, okay? And I look forward to seeing you. And I hope that what I have offered to you today has a chance to settle down and sink in and just let it melt, kind of stew around in yourself for a while, okay? There we go. Kimmy is just listing a leather jacket on eBay. I love it. There we go. Easy to add up for you. It's 104 here. Yeah, it's 104. I see that. Awesome. Okay, so I will see you all at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific for an hour and get some good stuff done so you can show up feeling good about what you got done today. Okay? See ya. Bye.